Hey, Riley Besties, welcome back to the Writing with Anna new podcast where we talk about all things writing. In today's episode, I am very excited to be getting into some tea. Some tea. The last time I talked about my book, GHOSTCIDE, I actually did have the same cup, I think. And I remember slurping at the start of the episode. So I'm going to slurp for you guys because you guys need some tea because this episode's going to go crazy. We're talking a lot. Okay, so cheers. Let's sip. I did not slurp. I should slurp. Hey, that sounded like a really weird. Sorry. Wait. That is so much better. Okay. If you guys don't know, I need to slurp my tea or else it doesn't taste good. I just wanted to be polite, I think. Anyways, today, hello everyone. If you're new to my channel, this is my podcast. I'm going to be talking about my debut novel, GHOSTCIDE. What's happening? Am I actually publishing it this year, next year? Why haven't I been talking about it? What's been happening? They're very valid questions. And I'm going to be getting into them in today's episode. I'm going to be firstly talking about, I'm going to give a little preface about what GHOSTCIDE is for those who don't know. Then I'm going to be talking about why I kind of didn't want to publish this book. And then I'm going to get into, what I'm up to in the book. And then lastly, answering some questions that you guys asked me on my Instagram about GHOSTCIDE. So kind of more of a general Q&A, which is going to be really, really fun. So enjoy. Again, you need some tea. Sit down, relax. It's going to be a long episode. But let's get into it, I think. So I actually, it's quite a current current crisis, I guess you could perhaps say, where I thought I should not publish this book. I thought, Anna, I don't know if this book is the right fit for you. I don't know if people will actually like it. I feel like maybe the themes are too mature. Not many people will be able to read it. What if people get traumatized if they read it? What if it's just not good enough? What if it's too try hard? Do you really want this to be a debut novel? Like, all of this was bombarding me so much, literally only a few days ago, a week ago. And I was getting quite impatient. And the reason why I haven't talked about GHOSTCIDE is mainly because of that sort of mini crisis, but it's also because I haven't worked on the book for so long. So that's literally why I haven't talked about it, is because I've kind of ghosted Project Ghost. If you guys don't know, I went on exchange last year in 2024. Yeah, it's still this year, Anna. I went there for around 6 months. So I was quite busy. I was international. I ended up getting like a boyfriend. I was just really busy with life. And I was studying full time, traveling, making new friends, trying not to cry because I missed home so much. It was my first time overseas. It was my first time, living kind of alone. So I had lots on my mind. It doesn't mean I didn't completely work on GHOSTCIDE. I did a little bit, but I barely made any real progress. I only got through half of my current draft, which is kind of more of the publishable editing draft where I got some editing feedback on my novel. So I just kind of stopped writing and I was too busy, too distracted, to be honest. And I kind of just lost that sort of writing spark in me, just generally, but also specifically for GHOSTCIDE, which made me quite upset. And of course, coming back from Australia now and, establishing my routine again, establishing my dreams and my goals. And I realized, Anna, I actually do want to publish this book. But then I was like, is it too late? I haven't written in so long. Maybe I've lost my spark. Maybe this book isn't the one, blah, blah, blah. All this doubt started to creep in because I was confused about the novel. I didn't know what direction it was going. I didn't know if it was perfect, which it definitely isn't. But I was just very doubtful generally about my book. But that all changed as of yesterday? So that's kind of just, I want to be very upfront with that's how I've been feeling about the book. I feel like a lot of writers go through this, especially now that it's getting closer and closer to where I see my manuscript as nearing the end and nearing this sort of, time where I can publish it and I can give it to you guys and finally have it out in the world, that this is when like you start to really freak out a bit. And that's what I did. So that's what I've been feeling. And it's been difficult for sure. It's definitely been hard because I'm so attached to this book. And I really wanted to publish it, but then, of course, you get a little bit scared, a little bit of cold feet, if you will. So that's kind of just, naturally how I've been feeling. But I am going to publish this book. And I forgot to also tell you, if you're new, if you don't know what GHOSTCIDE is, I'm so sorry. You've just listened to me ramble for like, it feels like 20 minutes. GHOSTCIDE is a novel that I am going to publish this year. Hopefully this year also. If I can't, please don't hold me to it, please. Because a lot of the questions on my Instagram were literally like, when's the release date? When are you releasing? I need this book. Where can I find this book? And I'm like, oh, I'm still thinking about actually publishing it. But then I am going to publish it. So don't worry. It will be published in this self-published. And this book will definitely be hopefully done by the end of the year. My dream and my goal is to have this book done by Christmas, but we have no idea. But that is my goal, okay? I'm being upfront. I'm being open to criticism, open to people holding me accountable, but that's fine. I love the pressure. I love that pressure. Anyways, what's GHOSTCIDE about? GHOSTCIDE is a novel. Used to be a novella, but now it's a lot longer since editing. It's a novel about a girl named Red Gibson, and she traveled to a new town. She's been kind of moving around a lot because her mother's been sick and she needs to, live now with her long lost grandmother that she's never really met. And it's in this very desolate sort of ghost town in Alberta, Canada. And she just simply doesn't make lots of friends. She's quite sad. She's kind of unpacking a lot of kind of trauma from her past and, not having a support system. And now she's with her grandmother that she's never met and she just feels very alone. And that's when she's kind of walking home one day from school and she actually meets these four ghost boys on the side of the road. And they begin to almost stalk her and convince her that they are real. They're not just her imagination. And they kind of befriend each other almost and start doing really risky things. However, there is a feeling that Red has where she feels like these ghost boys, like they have this weird relationship with her. She doesn't know exactly what it is, what these ghost boys want with her, why they befriended her, why they reached out to her in the first place. But she just becomes so obsessed with their company and how fun they are and how mysterious they are. It's exactly what she's been looking for, this sort of distraction, but it can lead her to something that is not very, I don't know, good. I guess that's a very bad synopsis. But if you want more information, you can definitely go to my Instagram. Actually, I have a highlight reel of all the questions. I have a GHOSTCIDE, and I also have like a couple other things on my Instagram, like fun little reels about the book, and a lot more like, a proper blurb, for example, that I've been working on. So yeah, that's kind of like the book. It's like very secrecy, tropes of kind of like friendship, found family, but also like mystery, like toxic relationships, trauma, dealing with feelings, growing up, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what the book is about. Yeah. Anyways, what's next? What am I going to talk about? Yeah, so this book hopefully will be done by this year, but we have no idea. I think it's just really exciting that I've got to this point now where I'm like, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? So now I'm really excited about the prospect of self-publishing. You guys know probably a lot of detail about how I created this book. This book has been through a lot. This book has like really actually shown me a lot about my writing and a lot about me as like an author and what I want to do. Because if you guys don't know, just quickly, I want to be a hybrid author. I want to be an author who publishes her, like self-publishes her own stuff, but also hybridly traditionally publishes her more fantasy books because I love fantasy and literary fiction. Literary fiction is kind of more of GHOSTCIDE when I kind of want to also delve into some, I was going to say romantasy. I think they're definitely romantasy, but fantasy. So yeah, that's kind of like my goal with it. And one last thing before we get into the Q&A. Yeah, I really wanted to kind of tell you guys how GHOSTCIDE, the book, has also allowed me to kind of feel this need to share this book because I would feel terrible if I just came on here and said, sorry, I'm no longer publishing this book, because it's been through my channel. It's been, such a staple in my writing, career and my hobby. And just like, it's taught me so much, this book. And as I've said before, this book is kind of like a, a message or a sort of ode to my younger self. And I feel like I owe her a responsibility to share this book, but also a responsibility for you guys. In that sense, I don't want to dilute my book. I don't want to have to change it to make it more suitable, to make it more readable, perhaps. I want to kind of really stick true to the book, its meaning, and what it really tells about me and about the world and how I imagine it. Because that was another fear of mine, is like, what if this book again is like too traumatic? What if it's too like, I don't know, goes into too many dark themes? But it's like, that's okay. It's like a ghost book, obviously. So yeah, I've realized that it's okay if your book, says some things or kind of delves into some things that you're scared to talk about. I think it takes a lot of courage to know exactly what your book is about, know exactly what sort of book this is, even if it's so niche and so different, which I definitely think it is, that it's come to a part in my publishing or like even just writing journey where I'm like, this book used to be a book where I'm like, yeah, it's going to make it. It's going to be, publishable. It's going to reach so many people. It's going to be so marketable. Everyone's going to love it. It's going to, but I realized that no, this book is just for me and just for you guys. Like, this book, literally, I only expect it now to be shared between my audience and me. And I adore that. Like, that would kind of like freak me out. I'd be like, Anna, like, don't you want to make this a big thing? And I'm like, no, I don't want to put that pressure on myself anymore. So that's something I've been really thinking about, is that sort of pressure being lifted off my shoulder, which I feel like was definitely on me as I was like in the Netherlands and trying to like edit this book and thinking about it's going to be crazy, it's going to like sell, I need to really work hard, when really it's just like, let's slow down. Let's just write the book how it's written and like, yeah, stay true to what I want and not expect this book to go crazy, especially since it is a self-published book. And not to say that they can't be successful, but I've just kind of like, yeah, I've come in like to peace with, and I feel like that's so important, to come with like this sort of peace towards publishing, of being like, I don't need this to be a bestseller. I honestly would not want this book to be a bestseller. I want it to be more intimately received. That's, yeah, I feel like, yeah, that's kind of like the book. And I feel so much more comfortable, again, with me self-publishing it and having this sort of littler expectation, it just comforts me so much, because part of me is like, what if my audience doesn't even like it? But I'm like, you know what, like, you can't change. But everyone is so excited about this book. I feel like I want to give it to you and just see what you think. And that's what I can do. I can't change your mind. I can't force you to like it, but I can just give it to you and see how you feel. So I'm very excited that if you're still listening even to this podcast, it means the world that this book can be finally out to you sometime in the future. So yeah. Anyways, that's kind of like my little spiel, I guess. I feel like there was something else I was going to say before we get into the question. Sorry, I literally said that like 5 minutes ago. The last thing I wanted to say is where I'm at. I'm at chapter 11 right now. The book is 17 chapters. So I'm making my way through, making my way downtown. Sorry. And yeah, that's kind of like what I'm up to. The book has increased to 50,000 words. It used to be 32, I think, when I started editing. So it's literally increased nearly half in volume. Sorry. So that's crazy. I love the new details, and I'm gonna get into some of the details and sort of like character stuff and like my favorite scenes, my favorite lines and stuff like that. I don't think I have a favorite line right now. I think it's on my Instagram, which I will read out. But yes, let's go ahead and get into the questions. Let's go. One of the questions actually kind of I answered, which I feel like is a really beautiful question just for anyone to ask about their book. And it was, what insecurity do you have about the whip? And is it was or as it is now? So it's kind of like, is the book different? And I definitely have changed the book a little bit, but I don't want to spoil too much. But of course, the doubts that I was just talking about kind of answered that question. But I really do think it's such an interesting question that I will revisit eventually as I'm continually editing the book and thinking about how the book has changed. But I feel like the characters definitely have changed. I do want to talk quickly. Actually, I really do want to talk about Max and Rue, who are two of the ghost boys. I've fallen in love with them. I feel like they used to be a lot quieter in the book because the book is definitely focused more on Red, who's the main character, the main girl, and then also Ned, who is the sort of leader of the Ghost Boys. And it used to be focused very much on them, their connection, their chemistry, when now there's such a beautiful little relationship between not only like Rue and Max and like the other boys, but also Red and Max and Red and Rue. And I adore it. I feel like we in my further drafts, and I'm very excited for like the people who have read my book, like my friend or my friends, yeah, that they're able to see their favorite characters. Like Ashley Faye, who I love, she's one of my best friends. She loves Max, and I'm so excited that if she rereads the book, she will be able to see so much more dialogue and so much more character of Max, because I've been able to increase it through my word count, because I wanted to see if this can become a novel, not just a novella. So I really adored that freedom and seeing how deeper I can, view the characters. Because Max he's a lot more nuanced. Before, you kind of thought about him as like he's the very crazy one. He's the one who drives and is risky and like does stupid stuff, basically. And now he's like such an interesting, nuanced character who cares for Red, and you know, he's more complicated, and that's the same with Rue. So that's kind of what's changed. I feel like the characters mostly, not so much the plot. Another question, which is really great, is how do you name your characters? Red Gibson is such a perfect name. Main character name. Thank you so much for that compliment. I adore names. Like, names to me are my favorite thing. I cannot wait to have children so I can name them crazy cool names. But I'm just obsessed with names, like literally so obsessed. And I love coming up with really good names that really fit the character. And now I cannot change, the characters' names. But how did I come up with it? I don't know. Red. I don't know. The book kind of dabbles in the theme of, or the kind of story of Little Red Riding Hood, which is one of my favorite it's not really nursery rhymes, one of my favorite childhood stories that I ever really read when I was a child. So Red basically came from Little Red Riding Hood. And in the book, Ned, he calls her Little Hood, which I think is really, really cute. But yeah, Red Gibson, I don't know about her last name. I just kind of like felt like it felt right. I feel like that's with last names. The first names to me are like my favorite. Last names are more of a second thought. But Gibson, it sounded very suitable. That's it, really. Next question. What's the vibe of GHOSTCIDE? What is the vibe? Which the vibes are important. The vibes are desolate town, kind of like almost Chernobyl type vibe, where there's, broken road signs, there's huge warehouses that are just like vacant. There's sort of like bizarre static in the place, in the town. And something that's really interesting is how I describe this town is seems to always be covered by clouds. It always seems to be almost nighttime, almost twilight. So I really, really do adore the vibe. And it's also like at least the vibe of the story too. How would I describe that? The vibes, The vibes are just like dark, ghosts, doing crazy stuff, robbing candy stores, running from the police. Yeah, just kind of like doing stupid stuff late at night. And there was a funny scene that I think is so funny where the ghost boy. I'm actually editing this scene, that's why it came up in my head. There's a scene where like it's gross, it's disgusting. I don't know how I came up with it, but the boys like go down to this dump yard and they have this game where they find like a golf sort of club, and they basically hit dead rats into like a basketball hoop in the in the like rubbish place. And it's so gross, so disgusting. You can hear like the flesh like hitting the backboard. It's just like something that is so vibe, like that's the vibe. It's really gross. Okay, I don't know if you'd like it, but that's the vibe. Okay, that's the vibe. Someone asks, what makes each of the ghosts different? They are very different. There are 4 ghost boys in this book. There is Willow, who's the youngest. Their age kind of goes up. So Willow, he was very anxious. He has curly hair. I don't know how that's relevant. No, he's very like clumsy, very anxious, very kind of like not dumb, but kind of klutzy in his words and stutters a lot. And he's just kind of he's picked on by the whole group basically, but he's always just there. He always gets lost. He's always left behind. He always gets sick in the car, and like he's just kind of like the little baby. Where Max, who's the second eldest, he is the risky guy, as I said. He loves to drive. He loves to flash his very toothy grin. He has like bleached long white hair, and it's kind of like in a little man bun at the back, and he wears these huge cargo boots. He's just like such a fun character, and he's very, very funny. He's the kind of like glue of the group, kind of just like making jokes when there's an argument or something like that. He's really, really fun. I really do love Max. He's my favorite character. I know I shouldn't play favorites, especially in Ghosts, but there you go. And then there is Rue. So Rue is the very depressed one. Basically you can say. I have there is a character type thing where he talks in idioms. He's kind of very abstract in the way he talks and very like removed, but also very forward. I love him. He's a really cool character and is actually very, very sweet once Red gets to know him. Rue, he's a very mysterious character. You don't really know what he's thinking. He has black hair. He's very pale. He has very white hands, and he's very tall. He loves Queen as well. He always quotes like Queen lyrics, which I think is so fun. But yeah, that's Rue. And then there's lastly the eldest, who is Ned. And Ned, who is he? Yeah, Ned. You don't know who Ned is. Ned is like the most mysterious. It seems to go up. But with Ned, like, Red is so intrigued by him. There's always something that he is hiding. He's so amusing. He's very daring. He is like the leader of the group, so he's very much this sort of present character who like sits in the back, but he like when he walks into a room, he like demands this respect. He there's respect from the other boys. And that's kind of like a very weird feeling, because why do they respect him so much? Is it just because he's the eldest? I don't know. He's very, very interesting. So they basically do all of his bidding. And Ned loves to watch the boys have fun and do stupid stuff. He's very fun. He kind of like reminds me of Peter in The Lost Boys. That's kind of like a funny reference that I do in the book too, where like Red's like, I hope I'm not like Wendy. Yeah, it's funny. Anyways, that's all the boys. They're very different, very distinct, but they also do really dumb stuff. Like they do the exact same things, but the way that they respond and the way that they do it is a bit different. Okay, very interesting question. What character do you relate to the most? I guess apart from Red, who's the main character, I don't know. That's a really good question. I feel like Red, like the stuff that she does in the books kind of is like what I want to do, and then half of what she does is also like what I would do. So like it's kind of like a mix where she's kind of like a emphasized, amplified version of myself. She's definitely based off me. You could probably tell when you read the book, which I don't know if you could tell actually. There's lots, like Red is a character who has lots of self-doubt and lots of self-hatred, which is a very big theme in the book. And people would not think that looking at me. I feel like that's a lot for lots of people. If you seem to be have it all together, if you seem to, I don't know, put yourself together, I have makeup on, I have like cute little outfit on, but I I hate myself sometimes. And that's such a mirror. The book is such a mirror toward my own soul. So yeah, for sure, Red. But I really would like to see what people find in their consistencies with the Ghost Boys in particular. With the Ghost Boys, I guess I would say Rue, probably. The next question is, what's my favorite line in Ghostside? I think I have it on my Instagram, but do not quote me. I am not too sure if I have removed this from the book. I don't think I have though. But we will definitely see. It's like all the way down here. Okay, here we go. Ooh. Oh, I don't know anymore. Wait a second. I don't know if I do have a quote. I would love a quote. Oh wait, quotes from Ghostside. I have like a whole post. Okay, I would say this quote. This is like literally the first book idea I had of the book. Like this is the scene. This is how I felt when I walked down a street late at night and I pretended I saw something. Okay, this is the quote. It says, "A little smile played at her face." This is Red. "A little smile played at her face as she neared the flickering yellow. She peeks into the windows and sees two, no, four, smudged faces in the car. Though it's hard to see through the washed out windows, she can see a boy's face almost clearly in the front passenger seat. A boy who was grinning at her. Dun dun dun. I messed up. I messed that all up. I know, it's terrible. Anyways, that is one of my favorite quotes because it is the moment that Red meets the Ghost Boys. So cool. So epic. Anyways, I remembered I need to look at my phone for the questions. Let's see, next question. One of the questions was, is Ghostside still coming this year? I hope so. It is my goal. I'm going to really work hard, truly. Oh yeah, there was something I also wanted to share. Funnily, if you guys don't know, when I wrote this book in a day. Like the 0 draft technically in a day when I was procrastinating doing a law assignment. I'm in law school if you didn't know. And now it's like getting towards the end of the year where I'm like starting to want to have to publish this book, edit this book, really work hard. And I'm coming up to exams. So I don't know, maybe it's God like helping pressure me, but for some reason I get so much more attracted to my projects, obviously, and procrastination of my other commitments as a student. So that sort of, I don't know, I think it's that risk. I love that risk, even though I would never let myself fail. Don't worry, I won't fail. I study, okay? I study really, really hard. But I just love that sort of being in that sort of stress environment, even though I hate it. For some reason, I've noticed that I cannot write when I'm relaxed, especially if it's a book such as this, where it's very like heightened. I feel like I'm more attracted to my projects and for writing for a longer period of time and getting more progress done when I have external pressures and kind of like, I love having multiple things I need to do and choosing writing. That's so toxic. I'm so terrible. Okay, someone asks, do I have a favorite scene? Yes, I do. And it's definitely inspired by the outro of Scott Street. If you guys don't know Phoebe Bridgers, she's like the love of my life. Yeah, and the end of the song, I remember listening for the first time and like, you know, in the context of my book, and I hear like a train like go boop boop like at the end of the song, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, this has inspired a whole scene. It is a scene where the characters are nearing a train. And I don't want to say anything. I know I've shared it somewhere, someplace, maybe in like a live or something, but I don't want to share it again because it's one of my favorite scenes. I love it so much. But it's like where they do something risky near the train tracks. That's all I'm going to say. Next question is age limit. That is definitely something I've been thinking about. There will be trigger warnings at the start of the book. Because the book definitely dives into some themes of mental health, and other things of like self-sabotage, like self-image, self-doubts, family trauma, stuff like that. So I will definitely think about that. For age limit, I definitely think under 16. I don't think the book is too appropriate, but yeah. I mean, my dream would be maybe 17, but 16 I feel like is a good age. 16 and above, which I feel like most of you guys are. I was comforted because a lot of you guys, I think like 40% of you guys are like 18 to 22 or 24, 18 to 24, I think, which is like my age. I'm 20. So yeah. Someone says, where can I buy it? So if you guys don't know, I am publishing via KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing, Amazon. I've done like a couple videos about this in the past. But yeah, so it will be available on Amazon, hopefully, and which should be most available internationally. And yeah, that's kind of all the questions, basically. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I had so much fun answering some questions about GHOSTCIDE. Again, the fact that you guys even know the title GHOSTCIDE is crazy to me. And this episode was definitely prompted by, if you guys don't know, I've launched some beautiful writing templates, some digital products for you guys on my website. You can go check me out. It's annanew.com. And that was one of my recent videos. And basically, it was the funniest thing because I uploaded it and like the title was like an announcement. Like, I have an announcement. And like so many of the comments, I felt so terrible, but also so honored, where people were like, I thought this wasn't like a book announcement. I thought this was like a book reveal. I thought this was like a date, announcement. I was like, oh, sorry guys. I just have these templates for you. There you go. So I'm sorry that I have not yet published this book, but I am working towards it, and that's why this whole episode was here. So thank you again for the support with GHOSTCIDE. If you want more information, more vibes, go to my Instagram. And yeah, I hope to see you guys there, and I hope to hopefully, update you guys on my process. I'm just going to be putting my head down and really trying my best with this book as I go through my law exams and finals. But I'm sure it'll be fun. So I love you all. Thank you so much for listening to the end of this episode, and I hope to see you in my next writing episode, video, whatever. Hope to see you guys there, and I wish you luck in your projects. So yeah. Oh, GHOSTCIDE's coming soon. I'll let you know when the release date will be, hopefully in the next month or so. So I love you all, and I hope to see you in my next writing video. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye.